Hello and welcome to Key Study Point. Friends, in this video we will discuss few more MCQs related to UPHS English syllabus. So let's get started with the first question. What central principle defines Matthew Arnold's view on culture and society in the study of poetry? We are taking questions from Unit 5 that deals with the literary theory and criticism. Okay, we have made lot of other videos, so you may watch those videos in playlist available on our channel. There are two playlists named the UPHSC revision. In that playlist, we are including videos of MCQs, and there is another playlist UPHSC English. In that playlist, we have covered a few poems and their summaries, so you can watch them also. So, options are for this question: what central principle defines Matthew Arnold's views on culture and society in the study of poetry? Option is poetry is a form of entertainment. Poetry is the highest form of art and is essential for human society's aspirations. Poetry serves to document historical events. Option D, poetry is an outdated form that no longer serves any purpose in modern society. So option B is the correct answer of this question. Poetry is the highest form of art and is essential for human society's aspiration. So these are the view of Matthew Arnold. Next question, according to Arnold, what is the real estimate of a poem? The poem's historical significance, poem's relevance to the personal taste of the reader, the timeless value and greatness of the poem's ability to reflect current social trends. So option C is the correct. Real estimate is the term used by Matthew Arnold in his critical work. So the meaning of that is the timeless value and greatness of the poem. Next question. How does Arnold distinguish between the historic estimate and real estimate of a poem? Options are: the historic estimate values the poem based on its relevance to history, while real estimate values its timeless quality. Second option, the historical estimate focuses on the poem's stylistic elements, while the real estimate focuses on its emotional appeal. Option C, the historical estimate and the real estimate are the same thing. Historical estimate only consider the poem's background while the real estimates focuses on poem's meaning. So option A is the correct answer. The historic estimate values the poem based on its relevance to history. Okay, while the real estimate values its timeless quality. Okay, next question. These are the a little bit tough questions. I have not included very basic questions, so you may note down or you may watch videos by pausing them. Next question: what does Arnold mean by high seriousness? There is a very popular term, high seriousness, जो मैथ्यू अर्नोल्ड का जब हम लिटरेरी क्रिटिसिज्म पढ़ते हैं then it is believed that it is very popular term high seriousness. So इसका मतलब क्या है? Poet's ability to entertain readers, the poet's treatment of serious theme like fate and free will with profound gravity, and option C is poets' use of humor and light-heartedness in their work, and option D the poet's technical mastery over meter and rhyme. So option B is the correct answer. Poets' treatment of serious themes like fate and free will with profound gravity. High seriousness का मतलब. Next question. According to you can pause the video and you can make notes. If you are finding these questions a little bit difficult to remember, then you can make your notes as well. Next question, according to Arnold, how should a reader arrive at the real estimate of a poem? So options are: by reading the poem in isolation without comparing it to other works, by focusing on personal emotional impact of the poem, by comparing the poem to the works of poets like Dante, Homer, Shakespeare, and Milton, by evaluating the poem based on its historical context. So option C is the correct here. By comparing the poem to the works of poets like Dante, Homer, Shakespeare, and Milton. Next question, it is about real estimate, right? Next question, what role does poetry play in society according to Arnold? Poetry passing trend that will eventually fade. Poetry serves as a mean of documenting social changes. Poetry has a high destiny and serve the highest aspiration of human beings, never truly perishing. Poetry is an art form mainly focused on personal expression without broader societal relevance. So option C is the correct option here, correct answer. Next question: how does Arnold view the work of poets like Chaucer or Dryden in comparison to poets like Dante, Homer, Shakespeare, or Milton? This is again very important question. Their works are equal artistic greatness, and their works are of equal artistic greatness. Their works lack the high seriousness that characterize the greatest poetry. Their works are superior because they are more accessible. Their works are more important because they reflect social issues. So option B is the correct answer here. ओके अर्नोल्ड चौसर और ड्राइडन के वर्क्स को देखता है तो बोलता है देयर वर्क्स लैक हाई सीरियसनेस और मिल्टन शेक्सपियर होमर और दांते के वर्क्स को बोलता है कि दे कंटेन हाई सीरियसनेस तो ये डिफरेंस है चौसर और ड्राइडन को क्रिटिसाइज करते हुए अर्नोल्ड बोलता है कि उनके वर्क्स में हाई सीरियसनेस की कमी है नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन what does Arnold believe readers must train themselves to do regarding poetry? Learn to distinguish between personal taste and true worth of a poem. Only focus on poems that fit their personal preferences. Avoid comparing poems to each other. Ignore the historical context of poems. So option A is the correct answer. Uh, Learn to distinguish between personal taste and a true worth of a poem. This is the expectation of Arnold from readers. So option A is the correct here, correct answer. Next question. There are some more questions. Please don't go to the numbers of questions. They are not in regular or consistent way. They are irregular. Okay. So don't mind that after 6 7 it is one. What is Matthew Arnold's definition of culture in Culture and Anarchy? Okay, options are a study of historical events, a study of perfection and the best that has been thought and known in the world, pursuit of political power, a focus on individualism and self-expression. So option B is the correct answer here. A study of perfection and the best that has been thought and known in the world. It is one of the earliest definition of culture. Generally, it is believed that although there had been lot of other treatises or works on culture, but when it comes to English literature, it is believed that this work, Culture and Anarchy, is considered one of the earliest work in English literature that talks about literature, culture and literature. So option B is the correct answer here. Let's see next question. According to Arnold, what is the main aim of culture? To maintain the status quo of society, to promote individual success and wealth, to make all men live in an atmosphere of sweetness and light, transcend class distinction, to defend traditional beliefs and practices. So option C is the correct answer. It is very easy question. You all can easily take the right option. Next question: what does Arnold mean by sweetness and light? This is again very popular phrase from Arnold. A lot of questions are asked from these quotations: sweetness, light, high seriousness, like these phrases. So options are the pursuit of wealth and material success, the cultivation of knowledge, goodness, and intellectual enlightenment, a focus on individual pleasure and satisfaction, a suppression of negative emotions in society. So option B is the correct answer. Sweetness and light. Sweetness and light means the cultivation of knowledge, goodness, and intellectual enlightenment. Next question: how does Arnold believe culture helps with present difficulties? This is again very important question. How does Arnold believe culture helps with present difficulties? So options are by encouraging people to abandon traditional beliefs, by providing a means for people to pursue perfection and reform outdated habits and notions, by promoting political revolution, by emphasizing economic success as the highest goal. So option B is the correct answer. He believes that by providing a means for people to pursue perfection and reform outdated habits and notions. So in this context, we can call Arnold progressive. Right. Next question: what phrase from the preface to Culture and Anarchy is often quoted by Arnold? The best which has been thought and said, study of history and tradition, pursuit of personal happiness, pursuit of wealth and power. So the best which has been thought and said. This is often quoted from the work of Matthew Arnold. What does Arnold suggest about current habits and notions of society in current culture and anarchy? Uh, about habits, current habits and notion of society. Okay, so they should be strictly adhered to as they are essential for societal stability. They are important but should be critically examined and challenged through the pursuit of culture. They should be completely abandoned in favor of radical change. They should be preserved because they represent tradition and wisdom. So option B is the correct answer here. They are important but should be critically examined and challenged through the pursuit of culture. Okay. Next question: what influence did culture and anarchy have on later cultural debates? Options are: it was largely ignored after publication. It remained dominant in cultural and political debates from the 1860s until the 1950s. It primarily influenced economic discussions rather than cultural ones. It was considered irrelevant after the Victorian era. So option B is the correct answer. It remained dominant in culture and political debates from the 1860s until the 1950s. Next question: what does Arnold's use of term barbarian, Philistine, and Hebraism, Hebraism in culture and anarchy signify? What are the meanings of these three? Critics of specific political movement, a categorization of different types of intellectual and cultural outlooks, a reference to historical figures, a study of different religion. So these are the a categorization of different types of intellectual and cultural outlooks. So there is a concept of barbarian, Philistine, and populace. So you may read them. Sometime questions are asked from those terms as well. Next question: what was Arnold's view of P.B. Shelley as a poet? Shelley was a master of intellectual depth and realism. Shelley was a poet of beautiful imagery and idealism but lacked practical application, which Arnold described as ineffectual. Sally's focus primarily on social Sally focused primarily on social and political issues in his poetry. Sally had a perfect balance between personal emotion and intellectual clarity. So option B is the correct answer here. You all know that Matthew Arnold criticized Sally. He says that Sally was a poet of beautiful imagery and idealism, but lacked practical application, which Arnold described as ineffectual. Next question: how did Arnold describe Shelley in his famous criticism? A poet of deep intellectual insight, little bit similar question from the previous one. A poet of deep intellectual insight and clarity, a beautiful and ineffectual angel beating in the void his luminous wings in vain. So option B is the correct answer. I am sure that you all would have read that quotation, a beautiful and ineffectual angel beating in the void his luminous wings in vain. It is very popular quotation which was spoken by Matthew Arnold to Sally. So option B is the correct answer here. Next question: what was Arnold's criticism of William Wordsworth's poetry? Wordsworth's poetry was too abstract and detached from human emotions. Wordsworth's connection to nature was powerful, but his poetry sometimes lacked complexity and broader social or philosophical depth. Wordsworth's poetry had perfect balance and intellectual depth. Arnold did not criticize Wordsworth at all. No, he criticized and he gave his thought, and that are in option B. He believed that Wordsworth's connection to nature was powerful, but his poetry sometimes lacked complexity and broader social or philosophical depth. So this is the correct answer here. Next question. What was the main reason Arnold believed romantic poetry, like that of Shelley and Wordsworth, lacked the qualities he valued? It focused too much on political issues. It was too abstract and not grounded in real human experience or intellectual complexity. It was overly concerned with form and structure. It relied too heavily on narrative and storytelling. So option B is the correct answer here. Next question. What type of poetic approach did Arnold prefer over romanticism? A focus on abstract emotion and idealism, a classical approach emphasizing clarity, balance, and human condition, a poetic style that was highly experimental and freeform, a focus on personal self expression and individual emotion. So, option B is the correct answer here. Next question. How did Arnold's criticism of Wordsworth and Shelley align with his overall philosophy? So these are options. He believed that poetry should focus on personal experience and emotions above all else. Option second, he thought that great poetry should have intellectual depth and a broader social or philosophical perspective. And option C is he argued that poetry should be completely detached from real human concerns. He believed that romantic poetry was the best form of poetic expression. So, option B is the correct answer. He thought that great poetry should have intellectual depth and a broader social or philosophical perspective. So, these are the questions which have been formed by me. आपको कैसे लगे हैं? You can comment, you can write your views, you can suggest anything you want in comment box. And if you, yes, if you have uh, gained something from these videos, from these questions, you may press the like button. That gives motivation to make more videos. Thank you.